Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're doing a comprehensive book summary review of an absolute game changer in the business and management world. We're looking at The Fifth Discipline, The Art and Practice of the Learning Organization by Peter Senge. Look, if you've ever felt like traditional corporate structures are rigid, walled off, or just kind of stuck in the past, you are going to absolutely love this. Senge's book is groundbreaking because it literally provides the blueprint for taking those clunky traditional business structures and transforming them into dynamic, living ecosystems. We're going to unpack exactly how to stop just doing work and start actually learning and adapting as a unified group.
So here is our roadmap for today. We'll kick things off with the astronaut's epiphany, define systems thinking, break down the core disciplines, contrast controlling versus learning organizations, and finally, look at thriving in a complex world.
All right, Section 1, The Astronaut's Epiphany, Seeing the Whole. To kick off this review, we aren't actually going to start in a stuffy corporate boardroom. Instead, picture this. It's 1969. American astronaut Rusty Schweickart is flying on Apollo 9, testing the lunar module in Earth's orbit. And looking back at Earth, he experienced something profound. He said, "You realize that on that small spot on that little blue and white thing is everything that means anything to you. All of history and music and poetry and art and war and death and birth and love, tears, joy, games, all of it is on that little spot out there that you can cover with your thumb." You know, what's so incredible about Schweikart's realization is that hanging out there in the universe, he saw absolutely no boundaries, no frames, just an indivisible, fragile whole. All those arbitrary lines we draw on maps down here, they just vanished.
Now, you might be wondering, why on earth is a management explainer talking about an Apollo astronaut? Well, because recognizing this interconnected whole is the absolute first principle of systemic thinking. While most of us only grasp this indirectly, Schweickart saw it firsthand. The Earth isn't just a bunch of disconnected parts, it's wholes within wholes. It's like a giant puzzle. And Senge uses this brilliant story to wake us up to our own connectedness. If we want to fix our organizations, we have to stop staring at our tiny, isolated departments and start seeing the entire indivisible whole.
Moving right along to Section 2, Defining Systems Thinking, Understanding Interrelationships. The prestigious mind behind this entire framework is Peter M. Senge. He's a senior lecturer at the MIT Sloan School of Management and, fun fact, was actually rated in the top 10 of Business Week's management gurus. Building on the shoulders of giants like W. Edwards Deming and Peter Drucker, Senge developed a totally revolutionary system. And what makes his approach so unique is that he brilliantly fuses traditional Western management theory with Eastern philosophical wisdom. So he takes that classic Western focus on strategy and structure, and he marries it to the Eastern emphasis on wholeness and deep connectedness. It is a real game changer.
Which brings us to the core of his work. Systems thinking is defined as a conceptual framework and an approach to observe the whole. It focuses heavily on interrelationships and dynamic change, rather than just simple linear cause and effect. Think about it. In the real world, if A happens, it doesn't just impact B and stop there. Right? It impacts C, which ripples over to D, which, guess what, loops all the way back around to change A. Organizational systems are dynamic. They're constantly shifting. You simply can't fix one isolated piece of a company and expect the whole machine to run flawlessly if you completely ignore how everything connects.
All right, Section 3, The Core Disciplines, Building the Foundation.
To build what Senge calls a learning organization, he lays out 5 key disciplines that you've got to master. Let's look at the first 4. First up, personal mastery. This is about facilitating your own individual growth and taking initiative. Second, mental habits, basically being highly aware of how we think and process the world. Third is shared vision, having a common goal that everyone is genuinely, deeply invested in. And fourth, learning as a team, working and growing collaboratively instead of in silos. Now, these 4 are absolutely crucial, but by themselves, they're kind of just separate tools sitting on a workbench.
And here is where the book gets its title. The fifth discipline is systems thinking itself. Systems thinking acts as the ultimate unifier. It's the glue that integrates the other 4 disciplines, fusing them together into one coherent practice. Without systems thinking, honestly, you just have a bunch of well-meaning individuals with good mental habits. But with systems thinking, you've got a unified, unstoppable learning organization that can adapt to pretty much anything thrown its way.
Let's hit Section 4, Controlling versus Learning Organizations, a stark contrast.
This is where Senge's holistic concepts violently clash with the traditional way of doing business. Let's look at the standard controlling organization, Honestly, it's your classic corporate nightmare. Strictly top-down, highly fragmented, and you're just expected to work in your own little bubble. People in these environments don't really collaborate. They just rely on spontaneous gut instincts when things go sideways. But in contrast, look at the learning organization. This features a flat structure where everyone is actually encouraged to take initiative. Problem solving happens through deep intercommunication. It encourages reflection and action, which directly fuels individual growth. I mean, it's literally night and day, isn't it?
To diagnose exactly why those traditional models fail so hard, Senge breaks down the 3 fundamental flaws of the controlling organization. Let's step through them. Flaw number 1. It focuses entirely on isolated individuals instead of how they relate to each other. It totally misses the team dynamic. Flaw number 2. It emphasizes fragments rather than the whole. Remember our astronaut? A controlling organization can't see the Earth. It only sees the arbitrary borders drawn on a map. And flaw number 3. It looks exclusively at the present situation. It hyper-focuses on the immediate fire drill, completely missing the broader changes happening and totally ignoring the future.
Finally, Section 5, Thriving in a Complex World, the Practical Takeaway. So, what does this all mean for us? It's time to take Senge's theory and bring it into the real world. The reality is, our modern landscape is simply too multifaceted to accurately predict outcomes anymore. The days of relying solely on our individual skills and gut feelings in total isolation, those days are over. We absolutely cannot tackle complex problems if we operate like fragmented, controlling organizations. Spontaneous reactions might have worked a century ago, but today, we need a much more comprehensive solution. We have to master the 5 disciplines, because only when we embrace a truly holistic, dynamic perspective can we adapt, adjust, and actually thrive in this unpredictable future.
Which brings us to the end of today's explainer, but I want to leave you with one final, vital question to reflect on. Take a hard look at your own workplace, your team, or your business. Is it a controlling organization, stuck in fragmented isolation, or is it a learning organization, ready to embrace the interconnected whole? Think about how you can start applying the 5th discipline today. Thanks so much for learning with us, and we'll see you in the next explainer.